Hi, I'm Leah Marie, and I'm here to talk about a little bit about boosting your immunity today. I think that we're all very concerned about this topic at this time. I'm only going to be about 30 minutes on this subject, so listen up. I got some really good tips. A little bit about me. I am an Ayurvedic specialist. I have studied under Deepak Chopra and about 5 other physicians and have learned all different aspects of Ayurveda, which is incredibly insightful. There's about 5,000 years of documentation and research that has been done on how to take care of ourselves, have more self-awareness, more understanding of who we are, and how to incorporate wellness for our perfect performance, our ultimate human performance. And it became really important to me to find that information when I became very sick several years ago with Lyme disease, and I had an occurrence where I actually had spinal meningitis with Lyme disease, and I ended up having Bell's palsy, so the whole left side of my face was paralyzed. And it was very challenging for me afterwards, after the acute phase was done, and I spent some time in the hospital. I had daily intravenous antibiotics. I found that it was very difficult for me to find balance with my gut health, with my weight, with just feeling the pain that you do feel with the residual effects of Lyme disease. And I really wanted to find health again. I was always an extremely healthy person, very active. I was athletic. I was a cheerleader in high school. I was an equestrian for many years, rode horses and did sports. So it was extremely important to me. I was always outdoors type person. Important to me to find my point of wellness again. And that's when I started to look at some teachings that I was already involved in with Ayurveda a little bit more closely, because I understood how Ayurveda brings us into balance. So a lot of what I am sharing is based on Ayurveda, which is the most comprehensive healthcare aspect of how to approach human well-being that is known to man. It is, like I said, over 5,000 years old. It's based on the study of science of the man and of life, human life. And what's also fascinating is it's how we're in harmony with all of our natural resources. So bringing in things that are more natural, more holistic. But believe it or not, today's modern science and medicine is taking, a look back at Ayurveda and saying that we really need to implement some of the different practices that are part of Ayurvedic lifestyle, like meditation, looking at how to keep things balanced and in check, emotional detoxification. These are all aspects. Some herbal herbs are being recommended more frequently now than prescriptions. And, I always recommend that you review anything that I'm giving you, especially the herbal side of things, with your physician. Or if you're in counseling, just make sure that you're following up with your counselor about some of the things that are recommended, so that you can ensure that it's still going to be okay for you as an individual. Most of the time, everything's very safe, but I just like to put that out there and make sure that everybody is aware that they should just have all the herbal supplements that are looked at in Ayurveda, in case you are on medications, that it's complementary, that it's okay, that you're not going to have any interactions happening. So that's important to know. So I have 25 minutes left. I told you a little bit about me. Studying under Deepak and Chopra and the other physicians was a phenomenal experience. I've been teaching in the healthcare field about holistic stress management and also a lot of other natural approaches to wellness for over the last decade, and I find it extremely fascinating and helpful to know about how to balance my health on an emotional standpoint, meaning the mind, on a body standpoint, meaning the physical, and then looking at the spiritual aspect of who I am as a human being, so I can be more purposeful and I can enjoy my life more. And believe it or not, this has a lot to do with immunity. So, you know, when we're in this crisis right now, I can't imagine how many people are getting into a very stress-based thinking. And I know myself, I've got allergies going on, which are pretty typical for me around this time of year when the weather shifts. So I'm like, oh no, you know, there's a cold happening, and you have that question in your mind, okay, is this something bigger than a cold, or am I, or you know, bigger than allergies, or am I, you know, okay? And I really feel confident that I'm doing okay with my health and well-being, but I know we're all questioning that right now, especially when you hear stories. I read a story this morning about a family that had a gathering for a dinner on a Sunday. I think it was in New Jersey, and the mother has passed away, and her 2 children passed away only hours before from the coronavirus. When you hear tragic stories like this, and we're kind of being told to have this social isolation and distancing, social distancing, it is not to be isolating when we have all of this great technology. Imagine if we didn't have the technology that we have today, that we couldn't connect the way we can today, but we can. So it's you know, another layer that we have to look at. Maybe we do need to be more present and at home. I see a lot of people are working and, you know, also having their children around, which is, it can be difficult. I know I've worked at home for a long time, but having your kids around and learning from you and watching you in professional mode is also a big step for them. It's going to help enhance them. I know with my kids, they take their work very seriously. They're 20 and 22, and they've seen me working at home for a long time, and I think it has instilled in them a greater work ethic. So just the balancing of work and who you are at work and who you are in family life is going to be a little challenging for a bit. I hope everybody can hear me okay. I was on a meeting earlier and they had said that my sound volume was not the greatest, but I think that it's just that the internet or bandwidth on everybody's connection is getting a little challenging with everybody being online now. So I wanted to dive right in and start talking about some wellness aspects that you should be looking at for yourself. You know, I always start with your thoughts, and that's why I call myself the mind health coach, because your thoughts create what's going on in your body and in your physical being. You know, so oftentimes we have these thoughts that inspire us to have chemical reactions. Every thought that we have that creates an emotion creates a chemical reaction. So when you're creating, you know, thoughts that are based on stress or fear or anger, you're actually creating an emotional signature in your body, and it's dispersing this chemical called cortisol. Now, I don't want you to get freaked out about it. You know, it's safe that we have cortisol, you know, in our blood. But when you are producing cortisol over and over and over again, and it becomes hardwired into the way you think and respond, you actually start to have chronic cortisol production, so that every circumstance that is stressing you out, or you know, you're becoming upset about, it would be more catastrophic than, you know, your average person who maybe has more balanced responses, who's more in a state of awareness that keeping your stress levels and your reactions in a balanced state of being, they would have less cortisol being called into their bloodstream. And over time, cortisol causes diseases like cancer, diabetes, dementia, Alzheimer's, you know, a form of dementia. high blood pressure, cardiac issues. Right now, we're more concerned about, okay, well, we need to overcome this whole thing that is challenging humanity called, COVID-19, the coronavirus, that's COVID-19. So right now, it's so critical that you're aware of every aspect of how to be healthy and boost your immune system. So when you're calling cortisol in, cortisol is great when you're, needing that fight or flight reaction. If you're needing that boost of adrenaline that will get you out of certain circumstance. Like I always joke around and I say, if a tiger was chasing you or a dinosaur was chasing you, yes, you need the cortisol. And you also need cortisol for when you are in a situation where you have a cold or a virus of some sort. You need to preserve your cortisol for those circumstances. And when you have a fever, it usually ups the level of cortisol in your body, and it actually causes inflammation. And inflammation then in that circumstance is good because it will help kill off the virus. Right now, we're not worried about that. We're worried about, I don't want to say the word worried because that has an energy to it. We are mindful about how much we are going to react and how much cortisol we're going to produce, because we want to reserve that. We want to make sure that we are not experiencing inflammation or sending your energy sources to different areas of your body that detracts from your immune system. So if you're producing cortisol and you're having increased dry mouth, your systems are acting in certain ways, this is important to know. You start to have these physiological reactions in your body that lower your immunity. And so right now we want to make sure, especially with this very contagious virus, that our immunity is not being lowered in any way, shape, or form as best as possible. So here are some things, here are some tips that you can do. Being mindful of how you're reacting to things. Getting in a space where you are doing some deep breathing if you need that. There's something called pranayama breathing, and it's alternate nostril breathing. You use this finger on the thumb, you breathe in through your nose, and then you hold it, and then you switch nostrils and you breathe out. And then you breathe in. And then you breathe out, switching nostrils. So it counts of 1 to 4, 1 to 3, 1 to 5, whatever's comfortable for you, inhaling and exhaling in a rhythmic way, in alternate nostril breathing. It's amazing how quickly your parasympathetic nervous system kicks in with something, a technique such as pranayama. Using the alternate nostril breathing, it stimulates both areas of the brain, the left and the right side of the brain. It cleanses your lungs because you're working at getting that inhale and exhale, so that's important. And you also just have a relaxation hormone that comes out. Your brain signals that, okay, you need relaxation, and it stimulates the endorphins for that, and you feel relaxed. So that's one way to handle some of the stress that we're under and improve your immune system. Another quick thing to do when you're building your immune system and stimulating the right endorphins is you want to press your tongue to the roof of your mouth so you know where your hard palate is, not the ridge of your mouth. It's behind that where the roof of your mouth is. You can press your tongue up there, and after a few seconds or like a couple minutes of just keeping your tongue up there as long as you can, your brain starts to stimulate the pituitary gland to actually have the pineal gland react and disperse some endorphins that will help relax you as well. So that's another quick trick to get yourself in a good state of mind. I have more in-depth trainings such as emotional freedom technique that you're doing tapping on different acupuncture points using affirmations and breathing techniques, and you tap on certain aspects that are triggering you, and that's a little bit longer process, so I'm not going to actually do that here. I wanted to get to the other aspects of what we can do to improve our immune system before, really diving into that. But that will be an area that I will be educating on, and I do educate on. And if you ever want to contact me, please feel free to email me at info@mindhealthcoach.com, and you can get in touch with me that way. You can also find me on LinkedIn and Facebook, Leah Marie. Facebook, my page is at Leah Marie 999. And then my phone number to reach me directly is 508-932-9211. So that's how to contact me. And my website is mindhealthcoach.com. I don't love my website, but it has a lot of good information and a blog on it and that sort of thing, but sometimes it confuses people. So I recommend that you reach out to me directly. info@mindhealthcoach.com is the great way to do that, or you can text me 508-938-9211. Okay, so back to building your immune system. I talked about relieving stress. Meditation. I teach meditation all the time. I love meditation. It's so imperative for us to do meditation. Some people think, oh no, I don't need to meditate, I'm fine. But our brains need it. And right now, in the way our culture is, even before this whole outbreak of this virus that we're dealing with, we were not meditating enough, and it's affecting our health. We are not getting enough alpha brainwave state, and that's part of the spectrum of brainwave states that we need to go through in 24 hours. So it's recommended that you get into alpha brainwave state in a mindfulness way, which means you're in a positive way, that you're feeling gratitude, you're having some sort of positive emotion to stimulate the production of those endorphins I just was educating you about. It's important that you do this practice at least 12 to 27 minutes is what a Harvard researcher found, in order to improve your overall brain health, your overall wellness, and to start building that. You actually build great brain matter, and you connect different synapses in the brain to help you have a different reaction, to have a different perspective. You start to grow emotionally intelligent, and I call it like a brain fitness routine. When you put that in your daily routine, it changes you. It transforms you to another level, mind, body, and spirit. So that's really important to your path overall, and it will help you in your endeavor to reach a better immune system. Because that's what we're here talking about today. So some of the ancient practices that can help you boost immunity and avoid contracting any viruses. I'm hoping that it will help with removing some of the stuff that's going on with this virus. But if you haven't heard of the Neti Pot, they did talk about it a lot back in the mid-2000s when we had that H1N1 virus going around. I don't hear anybody speaking about it now, but the Neti Pot is really a great tool to use. You should do it every day. I don't love to do it every day because I have a sensitive nose, but you want to use a little saline pack, and you can pick them up at a pharmacy, and it's mixed with water. Now, when you mix it with water, I want to be very clear. If you have well water, or even tap nowadays, I don't trust, you want to use distilled water. You do not want to use straight out of the tap. If you don't have access to distilled water, and your stores are out or that sort of thing, another thing that you can do with your tap water is boil it, but I would boil it a half hour, and then you want to let it cool down to room temperature, and you want to keep it covered, because they're actually saying that the germs are airborne for hours, they're finding, with this coronavirus. So I would recommend that you are using distilled water that's sealed off, and get it commercially labeled and all as distilled. And what you're going to do is you're going to mix that saline packet with the water, and you're going to put it in the Neti Pot, and there's usually, when you get a Neti Pot, there's a description of how much to add for water and that sort of thing to the packet, and you will place it in your nostril, and you're going to tip it you know, just so that the water kind of travels through your sinuses, and it will go through and it'll wash your sinuses. So anything that's in there virus-wise would be washed out and cleansed. So you also tip and do the other side as well. And this is very, very important, I feel, and I'm surprised, as I said, it's an ancient practice that they have, you know, shared in Ayurveda for many, many years. I'm surprised they're not, you know, promoting that more now as they did when the H1N1 was going around, because this is airborne. It is something that ends up in your sinuses. So I'm sure that the Neti Pot would be helpful for sure. That's one way to start looking at self-care. You also can scrape your tongue, which I, you know, don't know how helpful it will be with the coronavirus, but it could. Daily, I scrape my tongue once a day, and this is the traditional scraper that you can get. You can get it right on Amazon. It's stainless steel, and you just insert it in your mouth as far back as you can go, and you scrape your tongue. It's great to do in the morning after you get up. I feel that you know, it removes that layer of bacteria, and some people say, oh, I brush my tongue, I like that. Well, actually, you're just moving the bacteria around, and you're actually getting it on your tongue. So, excuse me, you want to remove it from your mouth. You want to take that layer off and just, you know, completely cleanse the palate, cleanse the tongue. So you're getting that bacteria off. And what happens is overnight we're detoxifying, we're releasing a lot, and it comes out through your mouth, believe it or not. So the tongue is hosting this level of bacteria that needs to be removed, and the tongue scraper is an awesome way to do that. So you would wake up in the morning, you would rinse and, you know, your mouth out a little bit with some warm water, and then you can do the tongue scraper. I like to brush my teeth, floss, and then do the tongue scraper because I feel like I'm just giving my mouth the luxury treatment. So that's really helpful in ensuring your immunity as well as improving your taste buds. So I have experienced greater better experience with my food since I do that as well. You know, another aspect of cleansing the mouth is doing a daily oil pulling. So you can use different oils. This is one that I use. I like this one, Banyan, because it has a little mint flavor to it. But you can actually use coconut oil in the summertime. Is great because it's already melting, and coconut oil helps whiten your teeth. So I like to use that in the summertime because the warmer temperatures help it melt. You can use sesame oil because it's antiseptic. I believe this one actually does have sesame oil in it and some coconut oil. So it's antiseptic and it's help whitening my teeth, and it also has a little mint flavor, so that's nice. So I do that. And that's, you know, getting into your gums, it's cleansing, and the sesame oil, as I said, is antiseptic, so it's really settling into your gums. You swish it around a little bit. You don't want to spit it into your plumbing, so you typically want to put it into the trash, and that will be very helpful in cleansing your mouth of any, you know, things that you're inhaling and that sort of thing. There's also a great product that I use. It's kind of interesting. OnGuard, I have it dispersed through the house right now in my diffuser that I have available too. You can, you know, I don't love the MLMs, but this product is phenomenal, and this company is really great, and I'm not going to pressure anybody into becoming, you know, a distributor, but I will tell you that if you sign up as one, you get a better rate. And you do have, you know, ongoing reoccurring order, but it's so helpful to know about this OnGuard, and they have all different products with soap in it. OnGuard is a blend of essential oils that is similar to what they used back in the days of the Black Plague, and right now it's really hard to get this particular product, OnGuard. But contact me and I'll see what I can do, whatever you're looking to get. The essential oil blend is as I said, it's based on the thieves' oil that was used in the Black Plague. And why it's named thieves' oil is that thieves would actually go to the bodies of people that passed from the Black Plague, and they would pilfer, you know, all of whatever belongings they could, and then they would put this oil on so they would not get the Black Plague. And so they're really in high demand right now. Obviously, as soon as this whole thing hit America with the coronavirus, doTERRA actually sold out of a lot of it, but I have some in stock, so give me a call. Or email me, info@mindhealthcoach.com, and I'll see what I can do for you. And as I said, I have a diffuser that I also sell, the diffuser, and you add a little bit of water and you put in this couple drops of OnGuard, and it will help kill germs in the house. And in the office, I know a lot of us are working from home now, so that's probably, you know, off the table with the needing it in the office right now, but in the future, you know, if we get back to work, it'll be good to know to have a diffuser and the drops in it. You can put this, a couple drops on, this should be safe. Just check with your doctor again to make sure that you don't have any medications that could interact, but it's got clove oil and really, you know, a lot of things that you can find right in the kitchen. But it's, you know, the oil, the extracted oil is in this blend. So what you can do with it is put it on the bottoms of your feet, put some socks on, and it absorbs through your feet, and it helps build your immune system too. So that's an interesting way to build your immune system. Next, I'm just going to address, you know, what you can do nutritionally. You want to make sure that you have a healthy gut bacteria, because having that will help you in so many ways. If you've got leaky gut going on, you know it affects you all over. You feel exhaustion, you feel aches and pains anyway. So you're not digesting properly if you have any issues with that. If you've used antibiotics too often, that was one of the reasons why I really know a lot about gut bacteria. That I had to have all of the antibiotics due to the Lyme disease and that sort of thing. I had to rebuild and reforest my immune system with my gut bacteria and build my microbiome. So you want to use fermented foods. Right now it's a great time with St. Patrick's Day just having passed. You can do sauerkrauts and things like that. This here, Kombucha, is really, really great. I love this brand. You want to use ginger tea too. You can fresh brew it with taking some ginger root, fresh ginger root, and just putting it in some water and, you know, bringing it to a boil, letting it simmer for about 20 minutes. That gets the digestive fire going and moving things along. You have to be careful, though. You need to know what your doshic qualities are, which is part of Ayurveda, and I can help with that. And then, what was the other thing I was going to show? The kefir yogurt is very good for helping with probiotics, and really focusing on you. Self-care at this time is so critical. Making sure that you are lowering your stress, eating right, being balanced, getting enough sleep, extremely critical. A lot of us don't realize if you're not asleep by 11 o'clock at night, your brain is not going to be cleaned out. There's a burst of energy we get around that time, and if you're not asleep by that time, you're not utilizing that energy for the way that nature had planned us to. So there's a lot of information that's beyond what I'm giving you today. If you're interested in more, and also doing a life coaching session with me where I do a whole evaluation about your health, and from a natural standpoint, I can recommend different holistic avenues for you. I'm not a physician, I'm not an MD, but I am certified in a lot of different things. Stress management is one of my expert areas, so I can give you a lot of techniques for that. I really appreciate you tuning in today. I would love to know more about you, whoever watched today, and share all the wonderful things that I have learned about, and you know, help you in a better experience on this planet, help you improve your health, mind, body, and spirit, and be there for you. So tune in. I'm going to be doing more of these more frequently to get myself in tune with people that are really seeking my solutions. So again, Leah Marie, you can find me on Facebook at Leah Marie 999. You can email me at info@mindhealthcoach.com. You can also call me or text me at 508-938-9211. And my website is mindhealthcoach.com. LinkedIn, you can find me at I'm Leah Marie on LinkedIn. I do have an HR group on LinkedIn that focuses on corporate wellness and leadership. So with all of that being said, I really appreciate you joining me today, and namaste.